bets pay off. Joining us to talk about it, Jigar Shah. He's CEO of the Carbon War Room. That's a nonprofit that's backed by Richard Branson. The Carbon War Room, by the way, supports entrepreneurs who are looking for market-driven solutions to climate change. Jigar, good to have you here on Street Smart. You know, before the break, we did talk about how Richard Branson and Bill Gates are investing in algae. Let's just kind of start there before we go into other areas. I mean, is the commercial production of algae a viable way of producing biofuels and really kind of helping to wean the United States off fossil fuels?
Absolutely. I think that one thing that we just have to make clear is that energy is the wrong word to use. It's either transportation fuels or electricity. These algae investments are really around transportation fuels, something that we, frankly didn't work hard enough on in the 1970s, but have gotten back to today.
You know, it's interesting because I guess when we were doing this series, we were thinking, I think when everybody thinks of alternative energy, they think of solar, they think of wind, they think of a couple of other different things as kind of the traditional plays. Are they going to be a big part of the transportation fuels or the electricity going forward, in your view?
Well, between now and 2020, probably not. I think the renewable fuels section is going to be a far bigger influencer between now and 2020. I think electricity will probably be able to scale much faster after 2020. The battery technologies and some of the infrastructure just takes that long to get into place.
You know, when you talk about solar, you actually founded the solar energy services company, SunEdison. I mean, solar did used to kind of be, Jigar, the great green hope. I mean, has it delivered? Do we just need to be patient? Is it not going to really live up to our expectations here?
It's already delivered, and so if you look at the investments last year, more money went into solar globally than went into the entire coal industry globally last year for the coal power plants. It's just that people aren't looking at the data on an incremental basis. They're looking at the data on what's already been installed over the last 70 years. And that'll take some time for solar to catch up on. But in terms of new investments, about $70 billion went into solar last year, where less than $40 billion went into new coal last year.
Let's talk a little bit more about solar, and I think about Solyndra, because that's certainly been on our minds as of late. In January, Solyndra became the Obama administration's first loan guarantee recipient. Now, that company got $500 million of taxpayer money to help restructure a loan. And then the company recently announced bankruptcy and other things going on. Is it an example, in your view, that the government should stay out of trying to prop up private alternative energy companies?
Absolutely. I mean, the government has fantastic programs around reducing the balance of system costs for solar, figuring out how to spur investment in solar, which will exceed $70 billion again this year. And there's over 300 solar manufacturing companies globally. And so, it doesn't really need to pick winners on which manufacturing company should win.
Going back to alternative energy, what do you think is the most viable market? I mean, or do we have to be developing both, Jigar? Is it, you mentioned at the top, we shouldn't just talk about it, calling it energy. You've got to talk about it being transportation fuels and electricity. We need to be developing both. Both are very viable in the future.
Yeah, let's talk about aviation, because I don't think either one of us think that planes are going to be running off of electricity in the next few years. And so for something like the aviation industry, the airlines have now come together and made a big announcement in the last few weeks where they're prepared to sign 10-year fixed-price contracts now for fuel, which allows these large fuels companies, renewable fuels companies, over 50 of them, to build their first commercial plants and actually project finance them with the traditional investment banks because there's these long-term advance market commitments from the airlines. And so you see the marketplace organizing around this, which is probably why Bill Gates, Richard Branson, and others have gotten so excited about this area, is that they see the light at the end of the tunnel here.
All right, we're going to leave it on that note. Jigar Shah of the Carbon War Room, thank you so much. We appreciate it.